I back in May this year, I had to quit. I didn't have to quit, but I decided to quit for my family. Basically, I have a son, and I wanted to help him more for his school. And we, as a family, we have a plan too. So I decided to quit my job, and I'm currently a full-time student.
Lucky you, because there's a lot of work, and it's a luxury to be a full-time student.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
And now you're going to have to help me. This is Man. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so perhaps you can help me. You're next on my screen, Manzamar. Could you unmute your?
Is it me?
Yes, it is you.
Okay, so my name is Gulnaz.
Gulnaz?
Yes.
Okay.
I currently work at the Defense Language Institute as well. I've been here for 6 years so far. I teach Persian Farsi to military personnel. My background is design studies, and since I am in the education field, I thought that the MIS program would help me bridge between the two. So between the design studies and the education field that I am currently in. And I wanted to bring in more technology into the classroom. So I'm here.
Okay, great. It sounds like you're in the right place.
So far, yes.
And, I forgot to ask, if you have any kind of burning question at all at this point in time?
So I believe that you already opened up coursework until the all full 8 weeks. Was it you, or I'm not sure?
I did open it up, and you should be able to get in. And I don't know if all 8 weeks, maybe all 8 weeks are open, but I tried to not open up all the documents and everything.
Right.
Because I don't want you to get ahead of yourself, because sometimes what happens, at least to me, is I get a little panicked. And then, if I go back and I go, wait, I don't have to do week 7. I don't have to worry about week 7. This is only orientation. So I don't want people to get, uptight about things that they don't need to worry about right now.
Right. Well, I was actually happy because I'm a mom of 2, mm-hmm. And I also work full time, 40 plus hours during the week. So that was kind of a plus, because every now and then if I get a break, I could just look a little bit ahead, or maybe pause at sometimes. And so that was actually a very plus part of the.
Right. And time management is going to be a big, you're going to become a wizard at time management because you have to.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rachel, could you unmute and give a brief introduction?
Good morning. My name is Rachel Medeiros, and I teach 7th and 8th grade language arts and math. And so I have an 80% contract with my school, and then 20% of the time I am an independent consultant for teaching teachers how to use technology in the classroom. And so I'm really enjoying that balance. And so big reason I decided to choose the MIS program was it was applicable to teaching people how to use technology, but it wasn't about technology because I don't know, I think grad programs on technology can easily get out of date. And so trying to find one that would help me without just being solely focused on the tech.
Very, very astute on your part. Technologies come and go, but fundamental principles and cognitive science, these are things that we have known about. And that's what this course is about. It's foundational. It's beneath the technology. Good design is really the most important. And technology, you can figure out that and it'll come and go. So thank you for that. And Maria, if you wouldn't mind unmuting and giving us a little intro.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I'm currently an investment consultant at Fidelity Investments. My background, I was a corporate trainer for about 6 years. So I was on the road about 80% of the time, and I presented to about an average of 100 people a day. And I would develop, I would work with human resource clients to develop the presentations and build workshops for employees, teach them about investment concepts. So in that process, I really enjoyed learning how teaching people different ways would elicit different results. And being on the road and being with people from different backgrounds was fascinating. I would be in rural Tennessee, I would be in a boardroom in New York City, and analogies and stories really would bring my presentations to life, and I love the training part. So I left that job because I couldn't be on the road 80% of the time. It was taking its toll on my health. So I wouldn't want to be a on-the-grounds trainer in the future, but I would like to design training for people, for the development of people. So that's kind of my side, whether it's government, nonprofit, corporate, that's where I would like to bring in instructional design, help to design the curriculum for learning for people.
Great, and any burning question that you might have?
I was curious, this is kind of along the lines of Susan's question. You had said in the syllabus we may be working individually or in group projects. Are there projects where, I guess I'm kind of curious how the projects are set up.
Okay, and that's really, I'm going to launch into my presentation in just a moment. And at the end of the presentation, everybody should be perfectly clear about everything that is all of the deliverables and all of the stuff that you have to do. So hopefully that will be answered, and if it isn't, Maria, you'll let me know and I'll make sure that it is before we say goodbye to each other. And so I'm going to launch right into the presentation. I see right now it looks like there's the 6 of us, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and hopefully this is going to all work seamlessly. Okay. And I'm going to start the orientation. And welcome to IST 522. And I don't see people's. Let's see if I can. Okay, I'm getting more people's visuals. Welcome to 522. This is going to be a very intense but hopefully beneficial 8 weeks that will hone your skills in analyzing problems, developing plans, and designing and implementing your plans. We really won't get into the implementation, but it's really building that plan. And the nice thing about this class is that it's going to do hopefully at least two things for you. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to teach you how to develop a design document, an instructional design document. And this is the classic way that instructional designers start their development process, is with a design document. But it's also going to orient you to do any kind of formal writing, like if you do a request for proposal or you do any kind of grant writing. The same skills are transferable from what you're going to be learning in this class to other classes or other projects that you might have. So we've already done the introduction, and we've kind of introduced ourselves. And what we're going to be doing for the rest of this session is I'm going to be going through the course overview. I'm going to be doing a little mini lecture on human performance technology and on instructional design. And I'm going to talk about the process that we're going to be using in this class, the 80 process: analysis, design, develop, implement, and evaluate. And so we'll get into that in a few minutes. So this was part of your the introductions that we just completed. So I'm going to just move on to the next screen. So the course overview, and if you have blanked out your video so that I can't see your video, I would appreciate that you put your video on, because it helps for me to actually see your face. I mean, I feel like I'm not talking to myself. Oh, thank you so much. The course overview: students working individually or in small groups create plans for developing instruction. This course provides special emphasis on developing a working knowledge of the general instructional design process, completing a front-end analysis, creating an instructional blueprint. Students will work on problem identification and definition, content organization and development, implementation strategies, and creating an evaluation framework. So based on this, you can see that you are going to be developing a product, a design document. And I'm going to take you through that whole process and how to develop that design document. Okay, so this is, in a nutshell, what the course is going to be like. And it's, I will say, it's a very fast-paced course. It's 8 weeks. My colleague who teaches the blended instruction is doing the same thing in 16 weeks. So you are like, running twice as fast. So it's really important that you manage your time and figure out how to keep up with everything that you need to do. So your final design document, you're going to have a final document that's due on December 13th. And that's going to be done in APA style. And your other instructor, Professor Wisdom, is going to help you a lot with that. And my class dovetails with hers. So you'll have a lot of support in getting your document done. And then you're going to have 3 reports that you're going to do for me, that each of the reports then folds into the final report. So, we're going to chunk it really small. And the first report is going to be due on November 8th, which, today is the 22nd. You can see that it happens really fast. And I'm sorry, but that's just, the way it works. And that is your needs assessment. And that is, think in terms of around 5 pages. And you're going to be doing your audience analysis, your business analysis, and some of your instructional analysis, and determining if you have a training or non-training issue. Report number 2 is due on November 22nd, and that is the content development. That is where you are breaking down the content of your instructional product into modules, assigning objectives to your modules, and kind of giving me an outline of what your project is going to look like, what your training is going to look like. Report number 3 is due on December 6th, and that's your implementation plan. And that's where basically you're going to tell me how you're going to deliver it, when you're going to deliver it, all of the logistics, and some of the instructional strategies that you'll be using. And throughout this class, you're going to be reading and getting background on all of these things. So some of these terms obviously don't mean anything to you yet, or maybe not that much, but it will all come to light as we move through the course. And then on the last day, December 13th, your design document is due, and that is your complete report. You'll add your introduction, your evaluation plan, and some appendices, which show me some of the questions that you'll be asking in your evaluation plan, both formative and summative evaluations. And this paper is approximately 25 pages in length. So, I'm kind of, it's not huge, but it's not little. And I want you to think in terms of your capstone project. So I know that you're probably have talked about the capstone project with in some of your classes this semester. Your capstone project is going to be a product that takes about an hour in length. So when you think about doing the project for my class, I hope that this is going to be the blueprint for that project. So this will mean that you'll be about a third of the way done developing your capstone project when you're done with my class. And on October 30th, in just a few days, you're going to submit a one-page paper to me that is going to tell me what about your topic and what you intend to do in your topic. and I will give you feedback, and we will hone that back and forth so that I will make sure that your topic is appropriate for this class. So think in terms of about an hour of instruction. So this isn't, you're not going to solve world peace, but maybe you'll train people on the benefits of a farmer's market, something, you know, something small and very doable within about an hour of time. Okay, so let's talk about, now we're going to kind of hone down and what is due on October 28th. This is, it's about worth 30 points, and it's going to be in APA style, no more than one page. And it's a brief description of what you plan on designing. So even though you haven't done your needs assessment, I mean, we're already jumping to kind of like the solution, which is not necessarily how it really happens, but this is a little bit of a situation where it's going to have to be a training solution because that's what we're learning how to design for. And I want to know who your audience is. Are they your sixth grade class? Are they investors of, you know, just investors who usually do their own investment? Are they the teachers in your school district, your organization? So is it a school? Is it just, you know, the general population who are generally have certain economic educational level? And your motivation. I'm interested in why you want to do this topic. And it's very important, you're going to be submitting this to me online. And because I need to keep everything straight, I have some rules. You're going to submit this to me. You're going to give me your last name, and you're going to underscore it with the word topic so I know that this is the topic. I can differentiate which assignment this is. And it has to be a Word document. You can't give me, because I'm going to be writing, I'm going to be giving you feedback right on that document. I'm going to be grading it, and then I'm going to be submitting it back to you. So we need to be kind of speaking the same language, and that's going to be in the Word format. All right, so that is the one-page paper that is due very soon. Okay, so then report number 1, which is your front-end analysis, that is due on November 8th. And that is 50 points possible. And, you know, right away you're going to get 5 points because you're going to submit it on time. And I need to have a goal statement, project definition, and the purpose of this needs assessment that you're doing. And this is a work in progress. So do not think in terms of perfection. Think in terms of you're getting out your first idea, and I'm going to react to that idea, and I'm going to give you feedback. So I'm, you know, really going to be working with you so we can really hone this really well. So that's another thing that I want to say, that, you know, if you look at my comments and go, oh my God, she's harsh. I don't mean to be harsh. I just mean to really help you do the best project that you can. And then you're going to describe your performance gap analysis. You know, and this is basically the performance of your students or your learners, and then the desired performance. And so we want to see that there is a gap between what your learners are actually doing and what the desired performance is. And some of background about your business or the school district, your audience analysis. I want to know who your audience is in more detail. And also your organization. It's a rural community. There's they don't have much experience in whatever you're going to be training on. And just give me some of that background information. And then you're going to give it to me in APA style, the correct file format, which is going to be the Word document, and you're going to use your last name, and you're going to say report number 1, and that is going to be due on November 8th. Then on very shortly, November 22nd, you are going to turn in the most important report of the reports that you're going to be doing. And this is your content development, your task analysis. This is the heart of what instructional designers do. You know, you can get human resource professionals to do a really good needs assessment, and they do. But we instructional designers really, we look at the content and we really think about the content, and we break that content down using a job analysis, a task analysis, different kinds of analysis that you will become familiar with as you do your reading. And then we develop modules, and we develop very specific goals and objectives that go along with these modules. And that's what I'm going to be really looking for in report number 2. And this report probably is maybe it's going to take more than one iteration for you to get it perfect. Let me scratch out that word. There's no such thing as perfect. To get it good enough. But this is really the heart of what instructional designers do. And that's why we're called in, because we really know how to break down the content and get very specific so that we can build a really good learning product. Report number 3 is due on December 6th. And that is, again, 50 points. And you're going to further elaborate each module. And we'll talk in a second about the resources that you have. But you have 2 very good books. And the book that you have on instructional design has a lot of excellent templates in there. And that's why we chose the book, because quite frankly, when you're designing these documents, if you just look at the templates that are already developed and use those templates in your report, you're going to be on track. And your implementation clearly defines your materials and the strategies that you're going to use. And we're going to be talking about different kind of learning strategies that you're going to be using. So all of that will become clear to you, again, APA style. And then the final report is due on December 13th. And this one has a few more points. And really, what I discovered last semester when I taught this class, it really, if you kind of kept up and you've kind of revised your report, the final report is really, in some ways, the easiest report to do, because you're going to add an introduction, you're going to add a formative and summative evaluation, you're going to tweak some of the other sections, and provide some examples of questions and surveys that you use for your needs assessment and for your evaluation. And I think that that really, if you've kind of kept up and been revising, that final report really is not going to be that challenging for you to put together, because it's a summation of the other reports. And you are going to have something when you're done that will be a model that you can use in your profession, because you'll know how to do it. You will have your capstone project will be a breeze, because if you really use this to develop your capstone project, all you need to do is then flesh out the details of your design, and you've already got your design document, and you'll just move into your implementation. So that is the core project that you're going to be having. And because we don't have that many participants, is there anybody that has a burning question or something that isn't clear about these assignments that you want to address now? Yes, Galnez?
Okay, so the question I had is, so this part I understand. Is this in addition to group projects?
Yes, and I'm going to go on. This is your personal project, and then yes, there is a group project. But the group, the group project is going to be very beneficial. So I know you're probably going, oh my God, this is a lot. It is a lot, but think about it. Is what you're really doing is you're writing one paper. The one paper has several sections. So, and it's chunked small. So each of these papers, think of it in terms of, maybe 5 double pages. Of course, you have work that you have to do to get to those pages. So it is true that it's a lot of work. Let me move on and see if I can clarify some of the questions that you have. Okay, so the resources that you have 2 texts. The Rapid Instructional Design, which, on your syllabus or on your calendar, I call it GMP. So where you see GMP, you know that I'm talking about the Rapid Instructional Design. This book has some very good templates, and it's dense. It's not, but I think that it'll be a resource. It'll be something that you'll keep on your bookshelf and be able to use professionally. So I think that we've chosen this book because I think it's going to really help get you into the design document as easily as possible. And the other book is a delightful book called Telling Ain't Training, and it's by Stolovich and Keeps, and that is going to be called S&K. And it's learning theory, strategies, and cognitive science. So this is all of the kind of like the tools that we use as an instructional designer to really enliven and make sure that the learning really takes place. So that book is really fun to read. It's Harold Stolovich. He was one of my instructors. He's excellent. He's a great storyteller. And that book is just, it's really solid in terms of the research, but it's done in such a way that it's very conversational. So I think you're going to really like it. Also, for each module, I give you mini lectures. And these mini lectures, I'm giving it to you in 3 formats. It's in a PowerPoint. It's also, there's a written transcript if you just want to read the whole thing. Or I have audio files, and the audio files are chunked into 3 different files that are never more than 3 minutes in length. So you don't have to do all 3 of those. I just give it to you in a variety of ways. So if you just want to, if you just want to copy the written transcript and read it, that's probably the easiest and fastest way of doing it. But if you like to hear things and you want to just listen to it, you have that, option as well. And these mini lectures go along with the reading and go along with the assignments that you have to do. And I hope that you'll be able to spend some time going through all of those. I'm also hoping that I give you clear instructions, grading policies and due dates and expectations so that you are not surprised and everything is really clear. And if it isn't, do not spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. Either post a question to that forum so that your other fellow students can get to you, or send me an email right away because you don't have time to be confused. And I will be very close to my email for the next 8 weeks. So I'm going to try to respond to you within a couple of hours. You might get it from my, my cell phone, but I definitely want to make sure that you are clear as soon as possible. You also are going to get additional readings and handouts, and I have a course calendar that hopefully you'll print and you'll keep it right by you at all times so that you can be reading and keeping up with the class. Okay, so moving on, now working in your groups. You're going to create a presentation, and think of it as a forum in iLearn that uses a structured format. And this is straight from your book, chapter 6 in your Stolovich and Keeps book. And it's a 5-step model for creating terrific training sessions. And actually this model is, if you're an educator, you're gonna go, yeah, I know this. I mean, it's really the classic way of how we design training, how we design learning. And you're going to, first of all, you're going to submit a brief questionnaire about yourself on December 25th, and that's right in the iLearn. And you're going to meet virtually with your team members to discuss and review together Chapter 6. So just make sure that all of you understand Chapter 6 and feel comfortable with it. And then you're going to meet with your team members to create a 20-minute presentation. So each team is going to create one presentation. So it's not like you're each going to create a presentation. And it's a 20-minute presentation using the 5-step model. And the presentation is due in your form at 11:29. And then you are going to respond to, each of you individually is going to respond to one team presentation by 12:06. So let's look at some of the topics that you can potentially use for your team presentation. So job aids, learner games and simulations, designing assessments, both authentic and regular tests, the flipped classroom, adult learning, ARCS model, experiential learning, and then some topic listed but compelling. So if your team says, we really want to do a topic on changing attitudes, or something that isn't listed, I'm open to what compels your team. Now, this is a 20-minute lesson. So you're not going to tell me everything that there is about job aids or everything that there is about learner games. You're going to pick one small little piece, one little nugget that can be, and have an objective, have an activity, have a rationale, have the little 5 steps, and put it into an iLearn forum so that your classmates can then have, there's 13 students in this class, so maybe 4 different presentations, something like that, that they can then go, oh, okay, I can do that. I've learned about that. And so it's not a huge assignment, but what it does is it grounds you in the 5-step model so that it really becomes part of your own toolbook. And it gives you an experience of using that to develop a small piece of instruction. So hopefully that doesn't stress you out too much, given that you have this big, huge assignment to do your design document. Does that answer your question? You can just shake your heads if that answers your question about what you need to do. And once I get your questionnaires, and you might want to just spend some time, meeting offline or with your fellow teammates so that you can all go in and let me know what your first choice and second choice is, or if you have your own choice that I haven't listed for your team topic. Okay, other expectations. Do the readings as assigned, and there's a lot of reading to do because you have 2 books and you're going to be going through, I'd say 90% of both books by the end of the 8 weeks. So forget any of that wonderful fiction that you've been reading. You're going to be reading these books. And then you're going to be taking 2 short quizzes. One, you're going to be taking quiz number 1 on November 15th and quiz number 2 on December 6th. And before each of the quizzes, I'm going to be holding another Zoom session like this, and I'm going to be reviewing the essential concepts that I think you really need to know to be, one, to do well on the quiz, but also to make sure that you have these concepts so that you'll be able to do a good design document, and you'll also have the information you need as an instructional designer. It'll also allow you, if you have any burning questions or any kind of discussion, I'll open it up. And this meeting will be not any longer than, let's say, an hour and 15 minutes. They'll also be recorded so that you can review the meeting on your own, or if you can't make the meeting, you'll have access to those 2 other meetings. Any questions at all? Yes. We'll go with Gonz's. Go first.
Golnaz. So the question I have is, I'm looking at the dates. The Zoom sessions are on Saturdays and the quizzes are on Tuesdays, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
The Tuesday sessions, how long will this quiz be open for? Like how much?
It'll be open for a long period of time.
Okay, because personally, like I work, and by the time I put the kids to bed, I need like that extra time because it's a weekday.
Yes. And thank you for letting me know that. And I want to let you know that I can appreciate being a full-time worker and going to school. I did that myself. Now you have an extra thing, you've got kids. So I don't want you to stress out. You will have the time you need, and if you don't have the time you need, then write to me personally, and we'll make sure that you have a successful experience, because it's about learning, not about timelines.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. And Maria?
Yeah. My question was, in terms of the design document and the different steps, there was a part that had analysis and questionnaires, and I'm working with another organization, a drug recovery program, so it does take a little bit of lead time to work with them to gather the information. So I was just wondering, 2 weeks is actually a short bit of time, it seems to me, to get data. Maybe you could expand on that?
You are so right, Maria. It is like, crazy slow time. So, I say, do the best you can. And the thing about it is, when you hand it in to me, say that you can't get all of the data, and then you fill it in the next report. I mean, we have to work as best we can, but I want to make sure that you're on the right track. Maybe hand me your questions, and I know that, okay, these are good questions, and that I'm going to need to wait a little bit before you give me the full analysis. We're going to have to do the best we can, because really, in the real world, yeah, I've had this situation where I've been on projects and the needs assessment is going to be done in just a couple of weeks. It does happen that way. And sometimes as I'm designing and I'm developing, I'm going back and I'm, also asking more questions. So there's this iterative process, and it's not going to be perfect, but we're going to do the best we can.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
Sounds like you've got a good project already. You're thinking about a good project. Any other questions? I can only see a few of you, so I can't really tell. All right. Now I'm going to kind of just go into the kind of the mini lecture part of this class, and so some of the logistics and all of the how-tos are over, and we're going to talk a little bit about what human performance technology is. And we as instructional designers, if we find out that there is a gap that is due to lack of knowledge or skills, that's where we're called in. But we're part of this huge, broader organization, and we start with the problem definition, is identifying the business need. So, like the business might want to, there might be a problem or there might be an opportunity. I worked on a project where the analysts, the financial analysts, they were taking the average analyst was taking 18 months to learn their job, but they were leaving after a year. So now they had a group of people that never really learned their job, and because they were frustrated, they were finding other jobs in the organization. So this was the business need was to reduce the amount of time that it takes for people to learn their jobs so that they would feel more satisfied and potentially actually stay in their job a little bit longer. So we had that, and we defined the desired outcome. And so the desired outcome was within 3 months, they would be proficient in their job. And then we analyzed the current system, like what are they doing right now? And we identified where we want them to be, so that performance gap. So that is the problem definition. And then we looked at what are the root cause. Is it a knowledge barrier? Is it that they don't know something? And that's where, you know, the instructional designer comes into play. Is there a motivation barrier? So, and by motivation, maybe in one situation, sales people were being rewarded. They were getting their bonuses based on who had the highest sales. And what the organization wanted them to do is they wanted them to team with each other to do these big, massive sales across countries and across boundaries. So they were wondering, why aren't there salespeople working together? And when I did the needs assessment, I said, well, you're paying them to compete. So how can they really cooperate if their incentives, if their motivation is all based on competition? And it was like very obvious to me, and of course it became obvious to the organization once I brought it out, but sometimes you'll find that the motivation is not working for you, it's working against you. And then environment barriers, like, you know, you want people to use a new system, a new computer system. However, the new computer system is full of so many bugs. And, you know, like I think about, you know, we think about the Obamacare, like they wanted people to enroll into Obamacare when it first rolled out, and the system didn't work. So those are environment barriers. So we as instructional designers, when we do our needs analysis, we look at all of the different barriers. And usually, I will tell you, you are going to get more than just knowledge barriers. You're going to get motivation barriers and environmental barriers. And it's very important for you as an instructional designer to point those out, because what sometimes happens is you design your training and then, yeah, things improve, but they don't improve enough to close the gap. And then people say, see, we spent all this money on the training and we still have this problem. So if you say, well, that's because the software is still very buggy, or that's because you're not providing the right incentives for your people to use the new process that they've been trained on, whatever it is. So you have to really be clear on all of the issues. And then you design your solution set. So your solution set is going to be training, and you might have some recommendations for other things, but you as the instructional designer are really focusing in on the training and the learning piece. And then maybe you're working with other professionals who are developing some of the other pieces. And then after you implement your solutions, you go right back and look at your desired outcomes again and go, have I met my goal? Have I, you know, am I there yet? And a couple of things will happen. You'll go, I got to tweak this product. I got to change something. Or you find out that you have new desired outcomes. Very rarely do you go, oh, this is perfect and I'm done. You know, there's always some tweaking that needs to be done. And this is an iterative process that is repeated over and over again. And your design document, really, that front-end analysis is really the problem definition. And then we're going to hone in on the content development of, you know, identifying the knowledge barriers and what you can do. And your implementation is going to be the design of the kind of the outline of what your product is going to look like. Questions? Does that make sense? Okay. So instructional design, this is a discipline that combines education, cognitive science, linguistics, psychology, project management, and multimedia development to transform individuals, organizations, and communities to a more desired or higher level of performance by producing a learning product. So I think one of you, and I can't remember which one, was talking about the fact is that oftentimes people come to the MIST program because they want to get more proficient in technology. But really, what this course and what we're more interested in is how do we combine the best of all of these different dispersed fields to bring together a product that is cost efficient, because we have to think about cost. It's time efficient because we want them to be in 3 months rather than 18 months. We want them to be proficient at their job so that we can have the best possible product. And we're using a systematic approach so that and this is the process, and this is the system that we use, and this is known as the 80 model. Now, there's a lot of different models that are that break this down even further, but this is the classic model that really talks about the ID approach. So we start with the analysis, which is a systematic exploration of the way things are and the way things should be. So that's really what you're looking at. What's really going on now, and what do you really want? And we're looking at that gap. And then if the analysis identifies a performance gap, that's where we come in and we develop an outline and objectives. And then we develop, we go into development and create some kind of product. And we have a plan for implementation, how we can implement it. So then there's, testing of that before we go generally full blown. We have some kind of pilot testing. And then we have an evaluation. And we're looking, has the student met the objectives? Has the organization met their personal goals? And then the highest, how have we changed the learning of math for the district now that we're 5 years into this process of using this new plan that has been developed? So that basically is the ADDIE process in a nutshell. And this really is the conclusion of my presentation, but I want to make sure that people are really comfortable and clear about everything that I have presented. So, unfortunately, I can't see everybody, so I don't know. But if somebody has any question or any kind of confusion, I'd like to get that cleared up now. Oh, well, maybe either I did a really good job or a really bad job. I am one for expedience. I don't want to take time that I don't need. Now, one of the things that I want you to have is adequate time to meet with your group so that you can get the group project decided as soon as possible. And then once you decide on the group project, you can kind of let that go a little bit because that's not due until later. And but you have that, and we will get that all sorted out after you complete your that learner questionnaire that I have put into the website. So I know that you have another lecture or another session today at after lunch today. So hopefully this will give you some time to go to look at my iLearn and make sure that you can get a hold of all of the materials that you need to get yourself a good plan for having a successful semester. It's 8 weeks, it's gonna go fast. And at the end of the 8 weeks, I think you're gonna be really proud of what you've accomplished and what you've done. And it will be a model that you can use for this semester and for your career. So with that, I'm going to stop my sharing and, oh, now I see more of you, and say goodbye to you and wish you a great semester. I will be there if you need me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you all.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Working with you. Okay, bye-bye.